morning, everybody. I just want to share a story. Rebbe Nachman of Breslov, would always say that when it comes to Avodas Hashem, there are manios. There are things that hold us back. And in a certain way, that's the proof that there's real Avodas Hashem, that there are manios, that there are things holding us back, that you're truly worshiping God, because God wants to give us the best that we can get. And so when we work hard for something, it's more rewarding. You know, that appreciation that we have. Oh, it was better before. when we work hard on something, we come about to actually appreciate what we have. So it seems like, particularly when it comes to anything related to Rebbe Nachman of Breslov, that there are manios, because there's so much kedusha there. Of course, Rebbe Nachman, he wanted to reach out to the whole world. He said that the whole avodah of Moshe Rabbeinu, both during his lifetime and now after his death, and we learned Torah's Moshe, is to make gerim and to bring people into Tachas Kanfi Shechina, to convert people to Judaism. Not saying that we are forcing anybody to convert, of course not. It's a decision that the ger has to make on his own. Once it's made, though, it's over. So he's got to make sure that he's really sure about this. But in any event, I just saw something yesterday that was very interesting. So I want to shout out, can we still say that, to a Breslover Kehillah in Lakewood. They're making what they call hafotza. They give out their books. So the gewaldige thing that they did was they sent to us in the prison a box of Breslover Sfarim in English, including, I think, about 10 volumes of the BRI, Breslov Research Institute, English Likutei Moharan, Hebrew English with English commentary, an incredible work. And I've been like, which, by the way, without the commentary, you can actually read the English and the Hebrew with Nekudos on Sefaria, which is incredible. So it's available for free for anyone who has a computer or phone or whatever, and it's a free app, Sefaria. That's what I use for a lot of my videos. I know it's controversial, but whatever it is, if I'm gonna have Gehinnom for learning on Sefaria, all right. Anyway. Sof Kol Sof, what did we want to bring out here? But the actual books, they sent us, I think, about 10 volumes. So I don't pick a volume, I just randomly take, and I'll here and there give to an inmate. So there's one inmate who has expressed interest in converting to Judaism from long before he came to prison. At least this time, he was in prison in Puerto Rico for a while, and he was going to a conservative synagogue, and he was very upset because, first of all, the rabbi there, which is upsetting, was not Shomer Shabbos, not technically a conservative synagogue, technically an independent synagogue that was advertising that they were open to hire a Chabad rabbi. I don't think they understand how that works. Wasn't, but in the end they wound up hiring a lady, a cantor, not even a rabbi, right, and to be their spiritual leader. But anyway, nice big shul. I passed by there once. I didn't go inside, but I did talk to them, and I also was in contact with them to find out if it's true that this inmate was going to conversion classes. But he was telling me, he's like, I'm here because I want to keep Shabbos. I want to keep kosher. I don't want all these excuses that the rabbi there was making. That he said, of course, the classic Reform misinterpretation of a Say Shabbat Chol Al Tistarech Labrios. I'm not going to explain that because people misunderstand it. We can talk about. I think we've talked about it before, but he wanted real Yiddishkeit, but he was in this town where the only synagogue was this one big, empty, non-affiliated, conservative-leaning synagogue. Anyway, with that being said, I gave him first from, also I think published by BRI, is Ishtapchus HaNefesh, the Outpouring of the Soul, that's translated by Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan, is a Hasidic Aleinu, and who also was a rabbi in a conservative synagogue, by the way. So he's a big tzaddik like that. He was a rabbi in a conservative synagogue, so it's not. But anyway, people don't know that. But anyway, he was so mispol from this that I started to give him volumes that he could borrow. He's in now technically solitary confinement. Actually, now he's in the cell with another inmate. Our prison is an open dorm prison, and very few inmates are in cells. There's only 3 blocks that have cells, and one is the restricted housing unit, the RHU. And this guy, he's been there for a while. He got into some trouble, and I keep giving him Rebbe Nachman, and so he might be getting moved to a different prison. So I was like, I need to get that book back. I don't want to lose it. And so he said he wants the next volume, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go on Sfaria. I saw if I printed it fairly small, it fit on 20 pages, the next volume, because it didn't have commentary. Maybe if I would have only put English, but he knows Hebrew, so I wanted to give him the Hebrew also, because he enjoys looking at the Hebrew also, and he doesn't have what to do. He's in quote-unquote solitary confinement with another guy, so it's not solitary. The other guy is an Odinist, right, that he's with right now. So you can picture this guy, Puerto Rican guy who wants to be a Ger Tzedek, was in gangs before, was in Puerto Rican gangs, and I didn't hear that from him. I heard it from other staff, and he is there with an Odinist guy in the same cell right now, and he's learning Likutei Maran, And I said, all right, I'll print. But before I decide I'm going to print for him from Sfaria, that he could have something he could take with him, I guess. I was like, I'll just print something on the Parsha. He's like, I only want Rebbe Nachman. I only want Rebbe Nachman. He's like, because he was so excited a few weeks ago. We were talking. He's like, this is the truth. And he was like, and you know what he said? You know what? God is God. We always say God is king, God is sovereign, God is supreme. He was like, God is God. And I was like, whoa. And the way he said it was just it was so incredible. So yesterday I was like, all right, I'm going to print out Rebbe Nachman. I'm going to print out a few Torahs from Likutei Maran, double-sided, four pages on a page. Hebrew and English, because I checked it was only Hayes for Hashem. There was no Shem Havaya or anything if it winds up getting thrown out or whatever. Because I remember when my other prison, when I was allowed to do that, we had a very big Talmud Chacham who was, I believe, framed. We had Moshe Green, Zeichet Tzaddik Livracha, came to visit him in the prison, and Shatz Rebbe came to visit him, a person who was Moli V'Godesh. He was a Rosh Hashiva, and anyway, then I was allowed to bring in books and stuff. So I gave him. He was a Satmar Chassid, and I gave him Torah that he's. There's a sefer called Mitarasei Shel Rabbeinu that is on different subjects, different Divrei Torah from Satmar Rav, and I bought it for him and I gave it to him. Because I had brought it in myself, and he said I actually was one of the editors for this book. This guy who was in the federal prison when I was the Rav in Richmond, and I would go 40 miles away to visit the federal prison, and he said he was one of the editors for that sefer. I think he said it was a Bacher at the time or Ingerman, but so I gave it to him. But then he said like it got confiscated or something. Like I thought I was allowed to give it to him. I don't do that stuff now that I'm working for Then I was just a contractor once a week in the feds. Now I'm Is it still going? Yeah. Now I'm full time with the state prison, which was a dream of mine. In Virginia, they don't have state chaplains. But anyway, I don't want this video to be too long. But I was talking about manios, like things that hold you back. So there I was like, all right, I don't have my printer, which I'm not going to print 30 pages, 20 pages anyway. I only print like one page at a time because it's just a desktop printer. I'll send it to a copy machine that's where you're supposed to print bulk things. So I was like, I'm going to send it to the ed mod, to the school, the education modular. And so I sent that, and I sent the Dvar Torah that I wanted for this week for my group, because Thursday is when we have the Jewish service. And it was this week's Rabbi Bart Zadok's Dvar Torah. We sat and read that together, and I gave a copy of that to the guy in the hole also. But so I sent it to there, and then I was like, you know what? This way it doesn't look like I'm favoring the Jews. I'll try to send for the Odinists too, because there's two Odinists that are in the hole this way. Because especially if his roommate is like, how come he got something, I didn't get something? So I tried to print out the Havamal. That didn't print out at all, Baruch Hashem. But I was trying to be as interfaith, multi-faith as I could. But I go to the EdMod, and like someone is like printing out like 1,000 pages of graph paper when they already have graph paper, and then the machine is getting it run out of paper, and then it switched to another one, and it got stuck, and like just it's not working now. So I'm like, all right, and then they unplugged it, plugged it back in, and it's still printing the graph paper, but my Divrei Torah wasn't on the list, or maybe it was there under some of the graph paper. I don't even know, but I looked at the history, it wasn't there. So I was like, all right, I'm going to send it somewhere else. I sent it to facility management, and so there we had, finally, Torah Nun Ches till Torah Samech Hey, Likutei Moran in Hebrew and English, for this Puerto Rican guy who wants to be a Ger Tzedek, who's in the hole. And I asked the sergeant, could I give it to him? He said, if you want to. I don't know. He was like, oh, we'll keep him quiet, But like the manios, that like almost didn't happen, that I could get him Rebbe Nachman, because I don't want to lose the Sfarim that we have, just by other guys. And then I was like the other day I saw a guy who's actually Jewish, but like he doesn't like to come to, he said he only likes to come on the holidays. I should ask him if he wants to come for Tu B'Shvat. But I gave him he was one of the guys who got the puppies that he's able to raise this puppy so it could be a service animal. And so he was there with the dog lady, and I was like, do you want something like spiritual, because he's a Jewish kid, I think he has a life sentence, I don't remember, but like a young Jewish kid in his 20s something, like, and he's like, all right. So I gave him, like, I remember Hanukkah, he could say the brachas and everything, but he doesn't like to come every week. Might be different, because when there was a Chabad rabbi there, he would just learn with them, and just chumash, whatever. I daven mincha with them, and then I give more like I make it more like a service rather than a shir, which also, like, my wife, Zolka Zunstein, Glenser Rebbitzin, I'm only a Rebbe because I married a Rebbitzin, right? She, Baruch Hashem, just started at the women's prison to be a chaplain. I think she's the first female Jewish chaplain in that particular state in the history, and she goes to women's prison. It's 3 hours away, a lot of Mesiras Nefesh. She goes twice a month, and she went twice. One was just for training, and the second time she actually got to meet the ladies there. And she said until then it was always Chabad rabbis who would learn with them, but like she's like, none of these ladies know how to daven, not even in English, So like she's like, I'm going to teach them how to daven, I'm going to teach them brachas, and like because she's like, they all know like midrashim and Hasidic, some sikhs from the Rebbe, but they don't know, Berei Priya 8. So it's like, she's gonna go next time. It'll be Chamisha B'Shvat. She'll sit down with them, teach them brachas and Berei Priya 8 and whatever it is, Hamotz Lechem Minoretz, whatever. They don't know anything, and so Baruch Hashem, Matito for Yiddishkeit. But it's a gewaldige thing of how we have Rebbe Nachman. Finally, we got through the Meniyas, and the guy got the Torahs, and hopefully he'll be able to bring it with him to his next jail. But it's just, we see the koyach of the tzaddikim and the koyach of Torah, and we need to spread that to the whole world. We need to, and you see, like this guy, he wants Torah. He wants to keep Shabbos. Not like this crazy. I don't understand how the conservative rabbi, he's going to tell a guy, you do whatever you want. That's not how Yiddishkeit works. You can't be a ger without knowing that you have to keep Shabbos, or at least knowing if you don't keep Shabbos, you have to answer to it. Like, sure, the ger is chal if a person, even if he's mekabel the schar and ownership of the mitzvahs. But why would you want to do that unless, all right, maybe there are reasons, right? There's a whole thing from Rav Uziel. I'm not going to get into that, and every bezdin has to decide the time and the place and whatever what they're doing, if it's right or if it's not. But sof kol sof, it's like really interesting to me. Just that it brought me a simcha when I saw the Meniyas, because I saw this is taka a davar shebekadusha. This is actually something holy is going on. The fact that it was so hard to just, something that would be so simple, to print out a few Torahs from Likutei Moharan, and it was so difficult to accomplish, that showed me there's some Kedusha here, and Mir Tashem, whether this fellow becomes a ger or not, that's up to him. I'm not involved with it. When he gets out of jail next year, not next year, in a couple months, all right. But the Torah of Rebbe Nachman is going to be guiding him at the very least, that he's not going to be a fabrecher, he's not going to be hurting people, he's not going to be committing crimes. Mir Hashem, it should at the very least transform his life and his soul, that he should be a better person, and if we could do that to him, we could do that for us too. We can learn Rebbe Nachman's Torahs. And I'm thinking, actually, one of the ones I printed out was on Parshas Bo. I didn't learn it, Like, that's the thing. He asked me, did you learn this? I was like, not really. I've learned, bits and pieces, but I've never gone through Likutei Moharan, like, straight through. The way I learn Likutei Moharan usually is, like, in the back, it says which parsha, for each parsha, which Torah is. So, like, if I feel on the Shabbos, all right, I need Rebbe Nachman. I don't learn Breslov Torah all the time. I have more Kavias and Kedushas Levi and the Noam Elimelech and the Maral, and mostly I follow Rebbe Nachman with the Seder Alimut, that I learn 5 Black Gemara every day and 3 Prakim Mishnayos every day and a parak of Navi and a parak of Ksuvim, and that's my Breslov derech. Is that the very fast Bekias of Breslov. I don't do his modidus like I should. Maybe this is El Shiklis modidus, because I don't have a script or anything. Just talk about what went on and things and talk to you guys. But but it should be chizik for me. Maybe I should. Once we got that English, I was like, I had it in my office at first. But then I put it away in the library, and I was like, it belongs in the library, it doesn't belong in my office. But I'm happy that at least I gave to one Yid. There's another Yid there, an older Yid, and he has a very poetic soul. He's an artist. If I see him, I'm going to ask him if he's interested in something, that'll give him chizik, like this spirituality, something very poetic, and we'll see. Maybe it'll give him, because he's always looking for something to be excited for, because the guys in jail, they're like looking for something. I was there Wednesday night. Whenever we have volunteers, one of the paid chaplains has to babysit, and if we we had to get rid of one chaplain who used to babysit Wednesday night for the Mormon volunteer. I keep telling the Mormon guy, can we pay you? This way I don't have to babysit. He was like, no, I'm not allowed to take. I was like, can the church take the money? So we don't have to babysit him. But he's like, no, he's more comfortable with someone there. Anyway, he doesn't want that responsibility of being there all by himself, but it makes more work for us. So now, if the Indian chief is there, Native American chief, if he's there Wednesday, sometimes he's there Monday, sometimes he's there Wednesday, I let him do what he wants. But he, what do you call it? He would take in the Mormon guy, but like I saw, like, because like I do a Jewish service and like I have two guys showing up sometimes, and then I see this Mormon service, and we have like 20 or 30 guys who are listed as Jewish, and maybe 5 or 6 of them might be actually Jewish. And then, but the thing is, I make it like Thursday afternoon. If it's at night, maybe it's a little bit easier to do things differently. But anyway, the other group, the Mormons, like, so we have like 5 Mormons, right? And 11 guys showed up for the Mormon church, and the one guy, he's a doctor, and like Catholic guy. Actually, he said he was raised Protestant, but he converted to Catholicism for his wife, and he's very active in the Catholic Church. And he's there, and like the Mormon guy gave him like the Book of Mormon, and like he used to come to my Jewish to Hebrew class, and a very intelligent guy, and I've got to work on that and see maybe we'll bring him back there, but because I know he enjoys the intellectual stimulation. But of course, I think he got a lot more out of when we were learning Tanakh and the Hebrew and looking a little bit at, I think we looked at Unclus also and things, or other Targumim to try to understand and translate things. We went a little bit through, I remember we went through the Navi Yonah, we went through some Kipit L'Chavtilim and looked at the Hebrew and stuff. But anyway, but like it's just amazing to see this guy. He has the Book of Mormon. No insult to that, but just very fascinating. And then the Mormon missionary was like, can you get us some more books of Mormon? Because he can't just bring it in. It has to be sent in. So I wrote to Utah, and they're going to send us another, like they just sent us 5, and now like he needs another 10. But, it's a lot easier to get copies of the Book of Mormon than to get the Likutei Moharan or even the Pirkei Avos or whatever. So, but I think, if we got Pirkei Avos in for everybody, would also be I know this guy, he would enjoy that. So whatever it is, the doctor, but it's interesting stuff. So I want to know, is this interesting? Because someone, it was actually Breslov Chassid, a rabbi in Florida, he gave me advice. He's like, talk about stories that go on at your work as a prison chaplain. And the question is this actually interesting? Is this something that you enjoy? I got to be very careful. I can't mention any names. I've got to be but like this whole story with Rebbe Nachman really excites me. It gives me chizik. It makes me feel alive. And it's interesting because like the officers, they're not so happy that I spend so much time talking to this one guy in the hole, but that's my job. That's my ministry. But that's what I'm supposed to be doing. But it's just fascinating stuff. So that's where we're holding. Thank you for watching. God bless. Another thing that happened, one guy, he's there, he's got bandages over his hand. I was like, did you hurt yourself? He's like, I don't know why I'm locked up here. I only broke a window. It's not like I hit somebody. I broke the window so I wouldn't hit somebody. I was like, oh my goodness. These are the types of, this guy's severely mentally ill, but just like, these are the types of things that we're dealing with, and we're really saving lives bringing people to prison, because this guy would probably have killed himself a million times if he wasn't in prison. And we've saved his life so many times. And so for all these crazy people who want to abolish prisons, you don't know, we're saving lives. It's not only that we're protecting society, but the people who are in prison, their lives are made better. It's not for punishment, it's for corrections, it's for penitentiary, for penitence. And hopefully we'll see Hatzlacha in that and get these guys out of here better than they got in here. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you later.